Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvalagrim here and welcome to yet another Injustice 2 mobile video. Today I'm going to do the first episode in a series where I try to explain you what classes are in Injustice 2 mobile. And when I say classes I don't mean the agility, might, arcane and all that stuff, because those are more or less irrelevant to the game. What I mean by classes is the damage dealer class, the tank class, the combo builder class and the support class. I will teach you how to identify those characters, what characters should you build that way, what types of each class are there, because there are more types of tanks and more types of damage dealers, for example, and then I'm going to go over how you should build them in general. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe in order to stay updated for more future content, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, as I do read all comments and I answer them all to the best of my ability. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, what is a tank? A tank is a character that is going to have as many hit points as possible with maximum resistances and maximum defense, or as close to maximum as possible. This is done in order to be able to take as much damage as possible in order and not die in the process. Tanks are used to tank up damage for the damage dealers in Arena and Champions Arena, and after they tank up the damage, they tag out for the damage dealer so the damage dealer can deal the damage for you. So when you're looking at a tank, you are going to be looking at maximum or very close to maximum max defense, and maximum or very close to maximum critical attack resistance, and damage over time resistance. The stun resistance doesn't really matter, since if you are going to be very tanky and be able to take a lot of damage, you are not going to take that much damage while you're stunned, but it's going to be there anyway because it will be on the talent, but we will get into that when it comes to the builds. You also will need to have very high health, because your defenses and resistances are going to be less effective unless you have health. So a tank is a character that is going to be able to take a lot of damage without dying, and his role is to protect the damage dealer and to tag in when needed to take damage. Now we're going to go over how you should be able to identify a tank. Okay, so first of all, this is obviously not my account and it's random dude I have found in the arena in order to showcase how to find a tank. So how are you going to be able to find a tank? First of all, the easiest way to look for a tank is to look for shield abilities. A shield ability is going to be usually the second slot ability, I think always the second slot ability, and is going to be an ability that's going to reduce incoming damage and reflect some of it back. Almost any character that has a shield ability can and is usually used as a tank, except for Wonder Woman. I think she's the only character that I've never seen used as a tank, but it has a shield ability. So for example, we have here Batman Gorilla Grodd. He has a shield ability, so he can be definitely used as a tank. You don't have to, but it can definitely be used as a tank. Let's see who else here has a shield ability. Wonder Woman, as we have said, is one of the few exceptions. Justice League Superman has the best shield ability in the game, because this is going to also make him regenerate some health. And they are usually called blocks, and are abilities that have to be pressed, and they are active and they constantly drain your power and reflect damage back and block damage back. This is another example. Let's look for other characters that have a shield ability. Well, another Wonder Woman, as we said, she is an exception for the rule. Superman, everybody's going to have this Superman, because you're going to get his shards for free from the achievements. He's also got a super block. This means he can definitely be built as a tank. This is the first way to identify a tank. The second way to identify a tank is characters that are tanky because of some ability they have, not because of the fact that they got a shield ability. And for example, if you are looking for characters that can definitely be tanks because of the abilities they have, one of the best examples is Darkseid. Darkseid can be easily used as a tank because of a few reasons. First of all, he is going to have a passive, which is Sacrifice Are Necessary, who's going to give him a barrier equal to percentage of his health when he takes damage. So even if you don't build him as a tank, he will be very tanky in itself because of this. And the second thing is the fact that he's able to regenerate health. Those two things make him viable for being a tank. That doesn't mean he has to be a tank again, but they make him viable for being a tank. Nightmare Batman Ninja. This character has no shield, but his passive is going to have a chance to reflect 100% of the basic damage done by the enemy. This means that you will most likely have to build him as a tank for the most optimal performance, because the more damage he's going to be able to take, the more damage he's going to be able to reflect. So this is how you identify a tank by a specific ability. So now let's get to the second section. There are three types of tanks. Tanks by nature, tanks by build, and the third one is tanks because they have no other role than a tank. So first of all, with tanks by nature, that's the easiest example we've talked about before on how to identify a tank, and the best example that I can give, if I can find him, is Armored Superman. This guy is simply a tank by nature. The passive is going to increase the defense for himself and his team, he's going to ignore a special, and he's going to have a super block, and his abilities don't have anything special in terms of damage dealing. So all of those recommend him to be built as a tank. He is a tank by nature because he is meant to be built as a tank. The second option that you might have is to have a character to be a tank by build. Having a character to be a tank by build, for example, Shazam is usually a tank by build. Is a character that has potential to fill other roles, but he is going to be built as a tank because maybe of the team that he's used in, maybe because he needs to be more tanky in some specific game modes. So this character can be quite decently, let's say, a damage dealer, could be quite decently a combo builder, or could simply be a support character. But the most used build on him is going to be a tanky build, because that is when he's most useful. And by building a character as a tank, you can make any character in the game a tank, but not all characters will perform optimally if you do this. And the third category is going to be the category of characters that are going to be tanks because they have no other options. And those are usually going to be the support characters. Let me find an example in a moment. For example, Horrific Scarecrow. There are a lot of people that build this character as a tank because he's usually used as a support anyway in a team because of this fear aura that's going to increase the power bar cost for the enemy's abilities and decrease the attack. This is going to make him a great support for a team. Your team will get those stats regardless of if he is built all the way to level 60 gears or if he's naked and has no gears on him. But a lot of people, because they have him anyway as a support in their team, they are like, well, let's also build this guy as a tank so he doesn't just fill that role empty. Another example, if I can find it in this dude's roster, is Dr. Fate. This guy doesn't have Dr. Fate built, but you can usually build Dr. Fate as... actually, he has it all the way to level 40. Usually you build Dr. Fate as a combo builder. The tanky combo builder, will get further into that when you talk about the builds, because he's almost in every raid team, and since he's almost in every raid team, he's going to be getting tagged in at some point, and when he's tagged in, it is the best that he is going to be the most optimal towards building that combo. So great build for him is a combo builder and tanky builds, even though absolutely nothing in his kit recommends him for being a tank. So this is going to be how many types of tanks are, and right now we are going to go into the tank builds, because there are two ways you can build a tank. One way to build a tank is going to be towards also being a little bit of a combo builder. A combo builder, we will talk about them more in depth because they will also have a specific class video, and those classes kind of intersect because a combo builder is going to be always a little bit tanky. So in order to build a tanky combo builder, which is in fact also a tank, you are going to need to do the following. You are going to go first into talents, and into talents there are only two things that you are going to need. First of all, health into talents is not going to be worth it because the percentage is calculated on the base amount of health, not on the total amount of health. So if you were to put, let's say 4% health on your talents, that 4% is not going to be calculated from this big number, is going to be calculated from the small number, which is the base, which is the 10k. And that is going to not do the cut for an optimal talent. In the talents, what you're looking for is resistances epic talent, and at the same time defense epic talent. Those are two very good value talents that you should have on every single tank on your talents. What I recommend for the talents is going for 3 defense talents and 3 resistances talents. This character has 4 epic resistances talents. Of course, if you get by luck 4 resistances epic talents instead, you can also go for that, but on some characters those values might overlap because yet again, I say this in many videos, but I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry if for some of you I'm repeating myself, but this is important so everybody knows. Some of the values do have a cap. For example, critical resistance. You can get only all the way up to 70% critical resistance. If you have 80% critical resistance, as is the case here, 10% is going to be wasted. And on Dr. Fate, that is not really a problem since his base resistances are going to be 0, I think, for each one of them. Yes, he's got 0 base resistances, but some characters do have a little bit of base resistance, and the values that are going to be wasted out of the talents that you put resistances on are going to be much higher if you have 4. But this is very nitpicking, so in order to build the talents, I recommend 3 defense talents and 3 resistances talents, but you can also go for 4 resistances talents. In terms of gears, there are 2 stats that you are looking for, actually 3. So, first of all, you'll need health, but we will get into that a little bit later. Then you will need 2 important things. First of all, you're going to use your gears to top off the defense. You're going to go, you're going to go over here after you have done your talents, or even if you don't have your talents done, you can make a calculus. You're going to go into the defense and see how much defense you have from your talents and from your base defense and from your gears, and how much more you need. And then you're going to go into gears and only put as much defense until you get as close as possible to the 75% without overlapping by too much, because all your overlap is going to be wasted. Then you're going to need another stat, which is fast attack. Fast attack, as we said before, is going to be needed in order to also be a little bit of a combo builder, in order to help your damage dealer be that combo faster. So you're going to need fast attack on your gears. You are looking for as much fast attack as possible, again without overlapping, because there's also a cap on the fast attack. You are going to want to be careful to not go over that by too much. And after you have done that, every single slot in your gear that is left should be occupied by health, because for every point of health that you have, your resistances and your defense will be much more efficient. And now getting that out of the way, the only difference between a combo builder tank and the normal tank is going to be the fact that the combo builder tank does not have fast attack. So if you want to build a combo builder tank, all you will need to do a full tank without combo building and fast attack, all you will need to do is to go into the gears and simply not put any fast attack on them, and just get as much defense as you need in order to get to the maximum, and after that put only health without any fast attack. That's absolutely the only difference between a full tank and a combo builder oriented tank. What I personally recommend, since is not going to be that huge of a difference in terms of how much damage they take, even though he might die in some situations because of that additional fast attack, but I recommend that on all your tanks or most of your tanks you will also have fast attack, because it's just a good thing to have to build up that combo. Before we end this video, I want you to keep in mind that I gave you the general guidelines for a tank build. When you're building a specific character, you can't really go after a certain metric always, because there are a lot of things that may differ, but always you will need to have maximum resistances, maximum defense, a little bit of fast attack, and a little bit of health. The distribution might be a little bit different because some characters might have higher base defense or stuff like that, but I just gave you the general guidelines. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments, and also let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate you do in order to support me and in order to not miss any future upload. Well, with all that being said, this was all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.